Okay, welcome back to We the People with attorney Justin Camper. And I'm going to have Mr. Camper, give his information again and plug his firm. But first, I'm going to read off, and I may do this as a practice in the future too, a local business contact information that's in the same vein. If you're going to buy a property and you're not going to quit claim deed it, and you're going to buy it from someone and you know nothing about them, know nothing about the property, you want to use a title company. And we do have a local title company called E-Title and Escrow in Gary, Indiana, based virtual title insurance company serving both Indiana and Illinois. So you hear that, my Illinois people? You can have E-Title and Escrow service your title needs. We use electronic documents, electronic signatures, remote online notarization, video conferencing to provide clients a faster, easier, and safer closing experience. And the number to E-Title is 833-384-8531. I'm going to repeat that again. E-Title and Escrow, 833-384-8531. Attorney Camper, please tell everybody in the listening audience how to get in touch with you if they need an attorney.
Yeah. So you can give me a call at 219-281-6166, or you can look me up through my website, justincamperlaw.com.
Okay. And next week, we're looking forward to have the owner of Steel City Bakery on, Chef Blake. Chef Blake is from Gary, Indiana. He's a Sugar Rush, Netflix TV show Sugar Rush contest winner on the Sugar Rush Netflix. So obviously he has some baking skills. We're going to have him come in here and talk about his experience in business and a business owner give their experience and comments about doing business both in Northwest Indiana and in Illinois, because he does both. We're going to take some commentary on that. In the meantime, Justin, we were going to have you elaborate before break time, and you just go right ahead.
Yeah, I think that it's just really important that we understand that politics and law plays a huge role in things. But I think we're kind of going back to our original subject, which is jurisdiction. And the importance of understanding jurisdiction. And really, this is what you hire a lawyer for, right? Because we're supposed to be able to understand the nuances to a lot of these different type of laws, things like that. But I think in general, it's good for the public to know about jurisdiction. And you had, cases where it was right on that subject of jurisdiction.
Yes.
I actually represented you in one, and we were able to win that in the Indiana Court of Appeals.
Yes.
And I'm curious now, looking back on it, how do you feel? It was a long road, but how do you feel about winning that case?
I feel very good about winning the case. For our listener audience, I want to tell you the pros and cons of winning. Con number one, you're going to feel uncomfortable about being confrontational. So you're not going to come off as the good guy by being confrontational. That's number one. So we have to get over the uncomfortableness of being confrontational in order to win a case. Yeah. Number two, you're going to have some upfront costs. And I don't mean just paying your lawyer. Justin gave me a great deal, right? So even if he didn't, you're still going to have costs, so it's going to cost you. And it's going to be very uncomfortable that you feel, wait a minute, I have to pay money so I can stop, start, or get rights that's written right here that's promised to me. So that's going to feel very odd. But you're not just paying for you, you're paying for other similarly situated people as well. Absolutely. Because the laws that you're using enable to wield justice in your way, other people sacrifice to have that. Some people with their lives. Yeah. And some people with money or whatever. And then another con to it is that it's going to have its emotional toll on you where you're not yourself. And if you're self-employed, you may even lose some of your earnings paying due to the struggle or fight. Yeah. But depending on what it is, it's absolutely necessary. Now, back to what Mr. Camper represented me, Attorney Camper represented me in. I had a judge take up jurisdiction over subject matter and parties, both, that she had no jurisdiction over. And now imagine how I felt. Prior hiring Mr. Camper, I, as a pro se litigant, explained to the court they didn't have jurisdiction. And they went forward anyway. Then I had other attorneys prior hiring Mr. Camper explain there was no jurisdiction. Right. And the court went forward anyway. Right. And not only did she go forward, I just want you to get a snapshot of this. The nature of this court normally handle what I would call a petty tort between usually landlords and tenants. Right. Maybe the girlfriend borrowed some money, or I borrowed some money from the girlfriend, didn't pay it back,
Right.
or I borrowed your car and I damaged your 30-inch rim and tire,
Right.
and they call that small claims.
Right.
And so the statutory amount at the time of my case was just $7,500, and I think it's been raised recently to $10,000.
Right.
Am I correct?
Correct.
Okay, but anyway, both me and the opposing party, we come in the door and explain to the court. The opposing party alleged that the value of what I was disputing was $25,000. The opposing party stated to the court they offered to give me 3 times $75,000. I stated to the court and submitted an appraisal for $300,000. Now, don't get mixed up by the numbers. There's only one thing relevant for all those different numbers, not the amount. Don't be amazed by that. I wouldn't care if it's $1 million. Every amount brought before the court was more than the statutory limit of $7,500.
Right.
Every amount.
I think it was actually 6,000.
At the time, yeah, I wanted to say, because I said that in the record. I thought I made a mistake in the transcript.
Right.
But it was 6,000.
Right.
And she simply said, I'm going to decide. And to add insult to injury, when Mr. Camper come along, I did the notice of appeal, got rid of the previous attorney, hired Mr. Camper. He did an excellent job on the brief. He sat down with me, let me participate to understand what our course of action was going to be. And he wrote a very straight to the point forward brief and illustrated how there was no jurisdiction, right? And the ruling came back in our favor, of course. But to add insult to injury, after she made this ruling, in the window of time from the notice of appeal, or not the notice of appeal, the argument in the lower court to the issuing of the ruling in March, it was like a 90-day window. During that window, the court with proper authority and jurisdiction declined to put me out of obstruction. And so she created dual jurisdiction. Would you explain what dual jurisdiction is, Justin?
Yeah. So you're saying when she created the dual jurisdiction, meaning that she was trying to rule on 2 different issues, 2 different subject matters.
Subject matter that was in front of another judge at the time.
Yeah.
So it was another court hearing the same subject of being asked to put out.
Yeah.
And it was so notoriously known, it was in the newspaper where I was being accused in the Times for trespassing.
Yeah.
So she had to know that this is in front of another court. Plus we told her so.
Right.
And we told the appellate court that in the brief, correct, Justin?
Yeah, we did.
And so we won. But and the COVID came out, a moratorium from our president, from our local sheriff, and a moratorium from the governor of the state of Indiana was all issued, and she ordered the sheriff to carry out an eviction while all 3 of those moratoriums was live.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But this goes to show why we should vote for our judges. Another reason why we should become professional citizens and participate in our government, would you say?
Absolutely.
So, in Lake County, Indiana, I think it's one other county, and if I'm not mistaken, it's more than 90 counties in the state of Indiana, somewhere in there. Yeah. Someone call in and let me know if it's different, or you let me know next week. But it's at least 90 counties in the state of Indiana, and maybe only 2 or 3 other counties, 2 other counties do not elect their local judges. And we're one of the larger counties. So we should vote for all our judges. We shouldn't have judges appointed that would do things like this, because we don't vote for them, they may be inclined to owe political favors from their appointments. Right. I'm not suggesting that about this judge. Let the paperwork speak for itself, because right now we're in federal court where I have a federal lawsuit about the events I just talked about. Right. So, and I'm not trying to play the villain, I'm not bragging, I'm not being a big shot, but we must do something other than just run our mouth about our rights. We got a caller, we're going to take a call.
Hello, how you doing?
Caller, thank you for calling We the People. That sound like Chef Blake.
Nope, not him.
What? I was gonna ask you for some cupcakes. All right, caller, state your name and state your question or comment.
Okay, Del Campbell.
Hey, how you doing?
All right, I think it's 91 counties. There's only 2 counties that don't elect their judges, and I can't remember the other one, but Lake County is one. I know Mayor McDermott was trying to go to court over that issue. I want to say that the other one is Marion.
Yes. So I got a question about that. Have you got any information, maybe the attorney can answer this too, as to, is it statutory that our counties elect our judges, or is this some home rule that we're under where we're not electing our judges? I understand that the governor appoints them, and it's a local committee that picked the nominees. And if I was the governor, I would just appoint whoever mostly the nominees pick, because you guys got to live with him. He come from among you, particularly if the committee is made up of bar members, right? So you can have a little clicking and finagling going on there of factions. But I would think that we can either get that changed, or under the 14th Amendment, the Lake County residents can argue that this is an equal protection violation, because we are a group, if we all got Lake County addresses, and we want to vote and participate in our democracy and vote for our judges like everybody else.
As I recall, that is the basis upon which Mayor McDermott is filing suit.
That's excellent. I would also think that one of the pros of voting for your judges is that we can actually look at their record, and if they're doing something too egregious, like the judge did with my case as an example, they're doing something too egregious, we can just not re-elect that judge again. Because right now they can do things and their record can't be contested, and then you got to have money to go to the appellate court and litigate your issue. We're already in an area where we have a high poverty rate, so what's the chance of us middle class, blue collar people having money to appeal the issue? So with not electing judges in our financial situation, our judges is like a Supreme Court almost.
Yeah.
Whatever they say.
And judges have a lot of discretion too.
Yes.
And so, maybe you want a judge that are harder on certain things and that are soft on certain things. Maybe you want a judge that won't give you the maximum sentence over a weed case or a marijuana case.
Could you talk about abuse of discretion?
Yeah.
In a nutshell?
Yeah. I mean, it's essentially, you have to prove that, a judge is going way beyond their discretion. They're just abusing the discretionary rights that we gave them. But a lot of that happens, and I think that with voting, you are holding people accountable.
So you think that's a high hurdle to overcome, the legal doctrine of abuse of discretion?
It definitely is. Judges typically give other judges a lot of discretion in their.
And would you tell the people what is plain error?
Yeah, I mean, plain error is when it is clearly against the law or something is obvious, and those are easier to prove. But abuse of discretion is a much higher.
So decisions that's subject to discretion, they're not subject to plain error.
Right.
So your standard would be more difficult when judges are making discretionary decisions.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. So you hear that, people? More reason why we need to vote for our judges. We still got Dale on the line. Dale.
I got one final question, then I'm gonna let you go.
Go right ahead.
Great. Now you won the verdict. Did you receive any damages, and who was responsible for paying the damage?
We have a damage hearing coming up. What the Supreme Court just recently ruled 2 days ago. The local paper mysteriously didn't put that in the paper, but they've been putting everything else. They put a big article that we won the Supreme Court, but I was favorable. But to make a long story short, the Supreme Court said that my damage hearing is void, and they're going to make them redo the damages hearing, and then I'll just ask for everything I have coming in the redo of the damages hearing. And we could probably talk about that more on another show. But that'd be great. I'm sorry. Okay, thank you for calling Dale Campbell, and thank you everyone for listening tonight. And we're getting close to wrapping it up. We don't have time for another call, do we? Okay, we don't have time for another call. I'd like to thank my guest, Attorney Justin Camper.
Thank you for having me.
Right, good attorney, and he's on the young side, so he got a lot of good years left in him. Well, maybe we can get some ground covered here and get some good rulings in.
Absolutely.
And Mr. Camper, please tell them again your phone number and offer your contact information.
Yeah, so I'm Attorney Justin Camper. My office is located in Hammond, Indiana. You can call me at 219-281-6166, or you can look me up on my website, JustinCamperLaw.com.
All right, thank you for tuning in, and this was the third installment of We the People.
Great show, fellas.
Ours was the first revolution in the history of mankind that truly reversed